Hello there, Miss Pam here at our Juniata Valley School Gardens. I'm here with my friend Ollie, the owl who's wise about wellness. Ollie and I invite you to part 2 of our garden tour. Today, we'd like to look at a number of plants among the 20 edible plants and seeds that we have growing in our gardens. And we'd like to point out the similarities and the differences. The differences will help you learn to identify and name them. Come along. Let's start with these 3 plants. This one right here, this one underneath, and this one right here. As you can see, these plants are all similar in color. They're all green, but then so are all the other plants in our school gardens. If you look a little more closely, you'll see, however, that there are some differences. This plant has leaves that are darker green. This plant has both darker green leaves and yellowish green leaves. And this plant has mostly leaves that are yellowish green. You'll notice that their leaves are similar in shape. However, the edges of this leaf are curly. This one too. Whereas these leaves and these leaves are flat. Let's look at the stems. They're all similar in shape. These stems, however, are thinner, while this stem is thicker. These 2 plants are called parsley. I wonder if you can guess which one is called curly leaf parsley and which one is called flat leaf parsley. This plant is celery. I like to eat celery with peanut butter. When I'm making tuna salad or soup, I like to chop celery up in small pieces to add flavor to the meal. When I think of parsley, I think of my grandmother. My grandmother put parsley in soups and salads and served it with meats. I think sometimes she put parsley in everything. My grandmother knew that parsley added flavor, but it adds nutrients too. And there's another plant in this garden that looks similar. It has a thicker stem, it has curly leaves, and is bluish green. And it's very nutritious. I'm wondering if you can find it. This is the plant I'm talking about. It's called kale. I use kale much the way I use parsley, in soups and salads and served with meats. You can see the stems are thick, the leaves are curly, and the color is bluish green. This plant is much taller than the parsley or the celery, but it comes in many varieties. Let's go and look at the other gardens to find another kale plant and see if you can tell the difference. There's a kale plant in this garden that has thick stems and is tall and has bluish-green leaves. But there's something a little different about it. I'm wondering if you've seen it already. It's right here. And you'll notice that the leaves are not curly, but flat instead. Even though this leaf looks different than the leaf of the other kale plant, it is every bit as nutritious. Let's look at 3 new plants that are similar in many ways, but have special differences. We'll look first at the rosemary plant. And we'll move a little bit over here and look at the tarragon plant and the lavender plant. The lavender plant is easy to spot because of its beautiful purple flowers. And if you look closely, they look like little purple puffballs. If you take a lavender stem and you look at its leaves and compare it to that of a tarragon stem and a rosemary stem, you'll notice some differences and some similarities. First, you'll notice that each plant has leaves that are long. 2 of the plants have leaves that are curved on the end, and 1 of the plants has leaves that are pointy at the end. You'll notice that 1 of these is a darker green and 1 is a bluish green, while this 3rd plant is also a darker green. When you smell and taste these plants, you'll notice a difference too. This plant is the lavender plant. Lavender is often used in perfumes and soaps and sachets. A sachet is a little pillow filled with dried herbs that you place inside a clothing drawer to make your clothing smell nice. I love the smell of lavender. Rosemary is delicious when it's put in tiny pieces on roasted potatoes. It tastes a little bit like a mix of lavender and mint. And tarragon tastes like black licorice. Tarragon is put on chicken and tastes wonderful. Each of these 3 plants looks similar, but it's their differences that make them special, just like you. Some of you are taller than others. Some are smaller. You have different color eyes, different colored hair, and different color skin. You have different tastes. You like different foods. You're all similar in that you have differences, and it's the differences that make you special. Thank you for joining me in our virtual garden tour. Ollie and I look forward to touring the gardens with you again.